What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So I posted a short a couple days ago discussing what was going on with my Audi, that it's using a quart of oil about every 400-500 miles, and asking for suggestions to see if anybody knew anything that I didn't. And somebody had brought up that there's a piston soak that you can do on this thing, so I'm going to try it and see what it does. Can't hurt anything. I read a bunch of different stories on forums and stuff of people saying that it works, so that's what I'm going to try. I had never heard of this before, so this is new to me, but if it saves me from having to rebuild the bottom end, then it's worth every freaking penny. So I went and bought some Berryman's B12, bought two bottles of it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing ready to do the piston soak. And while this thing's doing the piston soak, I'm going to work on the Veloster. So in order to do the piston soak, take your engine cover off. And then you need to remove coil packs and spark plugs. And then we'll put the Berryman's in there. All right, guys, so here's the Berryman's. And then I'm going to use a red Solo cup to measure out approximately 110 milliliters. And it goes to this line right here. That's about a half a cup or 110 milliliters. So I'm gonna fill that up and then put it in each cylinder. Then I'm gonna let it soak for 12 hours. Then I'm gonna rotate the engine. And then I'm gonna do another round of putting this in there and let it soak for another 12 hours. And then tomorrow morning, I'll empty it out and put the spark plugs and the coil packs back in there and see what happens. So using a red Solo cup's a bad idea. Don't do that. It disintegrated the cup. So I just used the regular measuring cup, poured a half a cup in each one. Now I've got it covered with paper towel just to keep shit from falling down into the engine. And now I'm gonna leave it sit for 12 hours. I'll rotate the engine about 5 or 6 revolutions and after 12 hours, and then I'll add some more B12 to it and then let it soak for another 12. So while this is doing this, I'm gonna go work on the Veloster. Now I'm not gonna post this video until I actually have proof that this works or doesn't work. So I'm gonna do this soak from today all the way until tomorrow morning. And then Monday when I have to go to work, I'm probably gonna put about 400 miles on this car on Monday. So I should be able to tell if it's at least doing better than it was. But I'll probably wait until I hit 3,000 miles to see if it does a good job as far as getting rid of the oil consumption issue. And then I'll post the video after that. All right, guys, so I just hit the 6-hour mark on soaking the pistons. Rotated the engine 3 complete rotations without adding any other fluid. Just turn it over slow. And now I'm gonna let it sit for another 6 hours, and then I'll do another, I'll add another round of fluid and I'll rotate it before I add the fluid, then I'll add the fluid. And then 6 hours after that, I don't know if it'll be exactly 6 hours because it'll be the middle of the freaking morning, but I'll probably rotate it one more time again before I drain the last of the Berryman's out. And then once I get that out, I'll throw the spark plugs back in, start it up, drive it for about 15-20 minutes to get all the smoke to clear out, and then I'll do an oil change. But I'm going to keep updating as I do this. So that's the end of 6 hours. I'll do another update after 12 hours. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock at night. I just got done rotating the motor. I'm getting ready to put another dose of Berryman's in here. And I'm going to let it sit until I should come out here at 3 a.m. if I'm doing it on the schedule that I've been doing, but I probably won't come out here until about 5 or 6 in the morning. And I'll rotate it again, and then I won't clean out the cylinders or try and run it until after 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But I'm getting ready to put the second serving, I don't know what the hell to call it, but put the second round of this stuff in here and let it soak, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Just got done rotating the motor again. I'm gonna let it sit for another 3 hours, and then I'll start it up and see what happens. All right, everybody, it's been 24 hours. I went ahead and pulled my little caps out of the spark plug holes, and this was just paper towels that were sitting in there to hold it. but I've taken paper towels and laid them across the cylinders and then put the cover back on it so that I don't get a mess everywhere. But now I'm gonna crank it over for a little bit and try and blow all the shit out of the cylinders. And then once I do that, I'll put the spark plugs back in, coil packs back in, and then I'll run it for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna change the oil. All right, so it looks like this thing blew out a lot of carbon, a lot of that fluid back out. But now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and put the spark plugs back in and then crank her over. All right, guys, I'm gonna try and start the car now. Should smoke like crazy. Well, it's not smoking like I thought it would, but it also has a new cylinder head and the whole top end of the motor is new. So the only thing that's original is the turbo and the block and pistons. So, all right, now that it's running, I'm gonna go take it out and drive it and get it to heat up, and then I'm gonna change the oil. All right, everybody, I just finished giving it an oil change. So now I'm gonna drive it for work. Monday, like I said, I should put about 500 miles on it Monday. Before Friday, I'll probably have about 1,500 miles on it. So I should have a definitive answer by next weekend. So I'll post this video once I know for certain if this worked or not. All right, guys, so I've just got finished working for the whole week, and I've driven the car about 1,200 miles. And it did use a quart of oil in the 1,200 miles. I just had to put a quart of oil in it today on my way home from work. But it has, I've been watching the oil level all week, and it started out using almost the same amount of oil as it was before, but then when it got down to about a half quart gone at about 200 miles, it drastically slowed down how much oil it's consuming. So I do believe that the Berrimans did make a difference. I know it made a difference, at least for the 1,200 miles that I've driven it. I'm going to continue to drive it and see how it does. But after I did the Berriman's soak, I started getting oil pressure alarms. And I started getting a P000A alarm, which is the intake adjustment is, I don't remember what it is. It's either too far advanced or too far retarded. I can't remember. But so that is associated with the cam bridge and the VVT solenoid for the intake cam. So I went ahead and bought a new cam bridge and the new VVT valve or piston, whatever you want to call it, that goes into the camshaft, and then the new solenoid that mounts onto the front of the front timing cover. So I'm going to replace that. I'm hopeful that the little screen on the cam bridge didn't get sucked into the engine, but it's possible. I didn't check it when I was doing the rebuild on the head, and I know I should have. Freaking one of those things. I just had so much going on, I forgot to check it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to remove the cam bridge, replace the VVT for the intake and the solenoid, and then hopefully that will fix that issue. I'm also going to replace the oil pressure switching valve that's on the bottom of the block next to the crankshaft pulley. What it does is it switches the oil pressure to high when you're above 3,000 RPMs, I think. It could be like 2,800. I can't remember exactly where it switches, but it switches from lower end oil pressure to high end oil pressure. And I'm not sure what the pressures are supposed to be. I'd have to look in the book to see what they're supposed to be. But I did notice that it looked like there was some oil buildup around it. There's no leaks on the car. I haven't seen any leaks on the car since I did all the repairs to the oil pan and the front timing cover, rear main seal, and all that stuff. I haven't had any leaks since I did that. But I do see a lot of oil buildup around that thing, and because I'm getting the P0001 or A, I'm replacing the cam bridge, I'm going to go ahead and replace the pressure switching valve as well. All right, guys, so I'm working on changing out the cam bridge, and the screen is missing on this one. You can see the new screen on here. So the screen has been blown out, and it's probably in my oil system somewhere, which is not good. I don't know what I can do to get it out of there, if I can do anything. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm gonna put the new bridge on, new VVT solenoid or valve, and new solenoid, which is up there in that bag. All right, guys, so I got the cam bridge replaced, got everything back together, but I cracked my dipstick tube when I was pulling it out. So I'm gonna go buy a new dipstick tube. Fortunately for me, AutoZone has a metal one to replace this cheap ass plastic one, and they actually have it in stock. So unfortunately for me, it's 30 minutes away from my house. It's not the one right up the street. So it's gonna take me, I might go get it later on this evening after it gets dark. I'm gonna go work on the Veloster. All right, guys, so I got the front replaced. I actually got the new metal oil dipstick tube in here, and I drove this thing up to Home Depot to go buy some more welding wires so that I could work on the Veloster. And I started getting like 7 freaking codes. I started getting, I'll list all of them over the video, but I started getting all these codes, P2088, P0245, P0458. I mean, it was all a bunch of low voltage alarms, and I could not find any information on where the damn fuse was that controlled all those circuits. Well, the fuse that I found that was blown is inside the plenum box right here, and it's the 15 amp that goes right here. You can see it's freaking blown right there. So now I've got a new 15 amp I'm gonna put in there. But to remove this, you gotta remove the cowl cover. You gotta remove the washer, or the washer fluid top. And it's a 13 millimeter nut right there. And then it pulls out. And then you've got 3 T30 Torx bits that are holding this in, and then you pick the cover up and pull back. It's got these little lock tabs on it that hold it in. But that's where the fuse is that controls the power side of all those circuits. And it apparently blew. I don't know why it blew. I'm hoping that it doesn't blow again, but yeah, it had no power and had multiple codes pop up, so hopefully that'll fix it. All right, so apparently this new solenoid valve has a dead short in it, because whenever I hook it up, it blows that fuse. So I'm gonna have to get a different solenoid. I'll figure it out, but yeah, if you ever have those alarms come up, that's the fuse that it is. And yeah, it's unfortunate. I was hoping I could have all that new, so I'll have to order another valve. All right, guys, so now I'm going to replace both pressure switches. So you've got the 2-wire pressure switch right here, and then you've got the single wire pressure switch down there. It's a little harder to replace, but it's still doable without putting the engine in, or the radiator in service mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace both of these, and need a deep well 24 millimeter or 1-inch socket, and then they just screw in. All right, guys, so my old pressure switch was a 22 millimeter, not a 24. Both of the new ones are 24, so I'm not sure if the blue low pressure switch, or this is the low pressure switch, the 2-wire one. I don't know if the blue high pressure switch that's original to the car is a 24 or a 22, but it just so happens that it's the same size as an oxygen sensor, the original one. So I'm gonna use my O2 sensor wrench to get it out if it's the wrong size. If not, then I'm gonna use my 24 millimeter socket. All right, it is a really tight fit, but you can get it, well, if I'd actually aim where I'm supposed to, you can get it to fit in there, but it is a really tight fit. So once it's broke loose, and once you break it loose, it's loose. You can spin it out by hand. So I've been taking my hand over here by the alternator, and then I can get my hand down in there and take it out. All right, so both of those switches are replaced. Now I'm gonna replace the oil pressure changeover valve, which is on the bottom of the engine next to the crank. All right, once you remove the T30 screw that's holding it in right here, it just pries right out. So now I'm gonna put the new sensor in. And I just realized I didn't show when I was taking that one out, so I'll show when I get back underneath the car. All right, the oil pressure control valve is located right here, right in front of the compressor, right here. So you'll see it when I get this one in there, but, well, if I don't drop it. But it goes in there just like that. This is the electrical connector for it. To disconnect it, it's just got a little spring clip right here on the front that you squeeze and then pull down. And then the T30 is on the very top of the sensor. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the T30 back in. Here's the T30 screw. So I'm gonna put that back in, and then I'll be ready to run the car again. All right, so this is how I've got the bolt reaching to it. I'm running a T30 Torx bit with a 3-inch extension. And let me pull my wrench out and I'll show you. So this is what I'm using to do it. 3-inch extension, T30 Torx bit. But now that that's installed and tightened down, all I gotta do is hook up the electrical connector. Alright, and we are good to go, so now I'm ready to start the car again. Alright guys, so I just hit a little over 2,000 miles on the car today, and I have used another quart of oil, but I also did some work to the car and I lost a little bit of oil, so I don't know that it's actually burning an entire quart. It may have only been like a half a quart, because I did lose some oil when I was doing the cam phaser, or the VVT solenoid, and the VVT valve on the front of the cam, and then I also no, that was the only oil that I lost. But I did have to take the solenoid valve off twice, so I lost a little bit of oil each time I took that off. Not saying that it was enough to justify the freaking thing going through that much oil, but it looks like it's doubled the amount of miles that I can drive before having to add oil after the Berryman soak. So I think I'm going to wait another 1,000 miles, and then I'll do another Berryman soak. That way I'm due for an oil change at the same time. I'll do another Berryman soak this weekend. Hopefully I'll be well, no, it won't. I need to change the oil before I go to Kentucky. I'm going to Kentucky in a week and a half. So I need to change the oil before I drive it up to Kentucky. So whether I'm at 3,000 miles or not, I'm going to do a new soak this weekend. I'll soak it for another 24 hours. I might even do 36 hours. And then I'll change the oil again. That way it'll be ready for when I go up to Kentucky. And maybe it will increase it again if I do the soak again. Because it seemed to make a big difference in that first soak that I just did. So try it again and see if I get a little bit better results. Maybe it's just so built up with carbon on the oil rings that I need to do it more than once. So we'll see how it goes. But after replacing the oil pressure switches and the oil pressure changeover valve, I've not had any more oil pressure warnings coming up on the engine. So I think that problem is solved. So now I just want to try and get rid of the oil consumption, or at least get it better than it is now. If I can get it to where it only uses a quart of oil every 2,500 miles, I think I'll be happy with that. I'd like for it to be able to go a full cycle between oil changes without having to add oil, but I mean, the car's got 130,000 miles on it, so I'm not expecting perfection, but I want it to be better than it is now, because freaking oil's expensive, and I don't want to tear up the brand new catalytic converter that I put on there from burning too much oil, and I don't want to foul out the two O2 sensors that I just replaced on this thing from burning too much oil. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to do another soak this weekend and see if the results get any better. But that's going to wrap up this video. I'll do an update after I do the second soak and see if it makes any difference. And we'll go from there. But if this video helped you out in any way, or if you liked what you saw, please, like always, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let your friends see what I'm doing. And I'll catch you in the next video. Now, I'm working on the Veloster. I just posted a video on the Veloster the other day. I'm working on it. I'm making pretty good progress on it. I've almost got the entire back of the car welded together. So I'm hoping, I probably won't be able to do anything as far as bolting the gas tank or the rear axle or anything in until I get back from Kentucky in 2 weeks. But we'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm still plugging away at finishing the welding. Once I get the welding done, then I'll start throwing stuff together. So thanks for checking out the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great one.